Spooky greetings, my friends, and welcome to No Nonsense Metal Reviews for a seasonal special, Halloween special, in fact, of my top picks for your soundtrack to Halloween. Essentially, I've got a few albums here that I think perfectly suit, perfectly fit the themes and the vibe of Halloween. Whether you celebrate it or not, maybe you celebrate the pagan festival of Samhain. Maybe you are totally in love with Halloween and you get all dressed up and go out trick-or-treating, put pumpkins out. Maybe you think Halloween is a load of old toot. You know what? Whatever your belief, whatever your opinion, hey, it's fine by me. But there's one thing we can all agree. That Halloween is metal as hell. So, what you need for a metal as hell event is a few albums to get listening to provide you with that perfect soundtrack. And I've got 5 picks for you, which I've had to scratch my head rather hard about because there's so many good albums that would fit the themes of ghosts and ghouls, of zombies, of horror, of nightmares, of chainsaw massacres. Whatever you like about Halloween, if you do like Halloween, there's some metal album to suit that theme. So, without further delay, let's have our first pick. This one comes from a Swedish band who have gone from being obscure and underground to being absolute megastars in what feels like no time at all. And I am, of course, talking about the proggy, psychedelic, bluesy, heavy metal rock pop band Ghost, the mighty Ghost. And this particular choice is their debut album, which was released in 2010. My God, that feels like a lifetime ago now. And I remember this album coming out very well. Well, just after it came out, this is Opus Eponymous. Just rolls off the tongue. This album got so much hype. There was so much excitement about this album. All of a sudden, there was this masked, cloaked band that came out of Sweden singing about Satan. Sounded totally different, sounded totally crazy. The likes of James Hetfield and Phil Anselmo were raving about this band. And what have they become? They have become megastars. And I have always loved that cover. So this is the debut by Ghost, Opus Eponymous, and I can remember quite clearly the very first time that I heard this album, and certainly that track, number 2, Sion Clavare, Sion Dio. Hope I pronounced that correctly. That's certainly how it sounds in the song. What a creepy, chilling track that is. That is absolutely disturbing, but it's delicious. It's the soundtrack to a ritual. It's so heavy on that bass guitar, those bumbling bass lines, the guitars and the synths, the vocals from, as we know to be now, Tobias Forge. Amazing vocal performance. The musicianship is tight throughout this album. The likes of Ritual and Elizabeth, they are perfect for Halloween soundtracks right the way through the album. Stand By Him, Satanic Prayer, or Satan Prayer rather, Prime Mover. These are great tracks for a soundtrack for Halloween. Amazing vocals, huge choruses, the riffs are amazing. If you're not familiar with this creepy as hell album, then you bloody ought to be, because say what you like about Ghost, yes, they've become megastars, but this is a solid album and they are a great band. Creepy as you like. So, we've had something that's psychedelic, that's creepy, that's all about Satan. Let's go for something that's crazy and creepy and all about Satan. One of the greatest black metal albums of all times, without a doubt. Certainly one of the most difficult to pronounce. From the mighty Mayhem, this is the legendary album De Mysteris Dom Satanas. Rolls off the tongue again. This is a classic album. This is one of the most evil, chilling, true cult black metal albums ever recorded. If for no other reason than Hellhammer's drumming on here and Euronymous' guitars. This album is freaking unreal. This is nasty as hell. Absolutely an evil record. Funeral Fog, that riff gives you frostbite. This is cold, this is creepy, this is satanic evil. Freezing Moon, Attila's creepy, nasty, demonic, ghoulish vocal performance is absolutely chilling as hell. Cursed in Eternity, black metal oozing with evil. Pagan Fears, spiky, frosty, nasty as hell. And you know what? The riffs on this album are unbelievably evil sounding. It just gives you goosebumps. It's the kind of music where you put this album on and you are compelled to run out and perform a ritual by candlelight under a freezing funeral moon. Elsewhere, from the dark past, another great classic Mayhem track, and Buried by Time and Dust. Great tracks, great chilling album. I love how evil and nasty this record sounds. Even by today's standards, no one can top how nasty and just how cold this album sounds. Mayhem have gone on to perform a lot of great tracks and some really good albums, but those guys, along with so many other black metal bands, would really struggle to surpass this. This is a classic. De Mysteris, Dom Satanas, one of the greatest black metal albums of all time, and a perfect soundtrack to Halloween. So, we've had something a bit more serious. Now we're going to go for something a little bit more, shall we say, light-hearted, but in a kind of black humour sense. We're going to go with a super group of a couple of brothers, you could say, brothers of ghoulish nature. This is a bit of fun. This is Murder Dolls, and this is their second album. This is Women and Children Last. This is a bit of fun. But musically, it's a combination of punk rock, hard rock, groove metal, traditional heavy metal. There's a few sort of extreme or far more aggressive moments thrown in there as well. But actually, there's some great killer material. This album was released in 2010, so it's quite a number of years old now. And of course, in the meantime, we've had the passing of the great legend Joey Jordison, who worked alongside Wednesday 13, who provided the vocals there, the shock rocker himself. And you know what? I love this album. I think it's great. I think the musicianship is amazing when you consider that you've got the great Joey Jordison, who provides the drum work and the guitar work and the bass work, I believe, as well. Drums, guitars, bass and backing vocals. The man was a multi-talented legend. And there's some killer materials on here that are perfect for Halloween. Chapel of Blood. How gory and traditional horror film natured is that? And it's a great track. That's a particularly heavy moment, in fact. There's some amazing riffs there. It's almost a little bit thrashing at times. Bored Till Death. We've got some great choruses here. We've got some really memorable lines, but great riff work. And of course, the drums are amazing. Drug Me to Hell is incredibly fun, very black and dark in its humorous nature, but it's a great heavy track, a heavy metal, punky track. Nowhere is certainly a very punky track, but it's another good one. But when we're talking about soundtrack to Halloween, this is very goth and ghoulish, it's very shocking, it's perfect really, but you want tracks like Chapel of Blood, Drug Me to Hell. We've also got Summertime Suicide, which is a bizarrely upbeat, sort of uplifting, punky track. Death Valley Superstars, My Dark Place Alone, which is one of the best tracks, or the best tracks from the album. Very heavy, very groovy, tons of great riffs here. We've got Pieces of You, Bloodstained Valentine as well, Homicide Drive, This is just horror movie soundtrack perfection. Not to forget, of course, a couple of quite humorous moments. Whatever you got, I'm against it, and nothing's going to be alright. So you've got humour, and you've got great solid metal, with some great vocals from a genuine shock rock legend, Wednesday 13, and a metal god, Joey Jordison. So, Murder Dolls, women and children last. Perfectly shocking, perfect for Halloween. So, we're going to go back to black now. We're going to go to something a little bit more symphonic and a little bit more gothic. In fact, a whole lot more symphonic and a whole lot more gothic than Mayhem. We're going to go with the UK, or local to me in fact, black metal legends, one of my favourite black metal bands, Cradle of Filth. This is Midian, released in 2003, and contains some of their most well-known and well-renowned and highly regarded material, and it is a freaking brilliant album. It's a very heavy album, it's very accomplished. Danny Filth's vocal work is amazing on this album. He sounds like a satanic demon, wailing and screeching and growling away like a crazy fool that he is. But you know what? This album is start to finish heavy as hell and filled with great material. Standout tracks: Cthulhu Dawn, Death Magic for Adepts, Lord Abortion, which is so freaking heavy. It's also one of my favourite Cradle of Filth tracks. It is nasty, it's demonic, it's evil, perfect for Halloween. Her Ghost in the Fog, which is obviously one of Cradle of Filth's most renowned songs, one of their biggest tracks. It's a great heavy moment. It's full of catchy, memorable Cradle of Filth moments. Tearing the Veil from Grace, Tortured Soul Asylum. This is evil, demonic, perfect stuff for Halloween. If you're not familiar with Cradle of Filth, it's black metal, very gothic in its style and sound, very synth heavy, but the riffs are amazing, the drums are amazing, it's a very percussive sound, and it's certainly black and bleak, and it's just perfectly terrifying, demonic experience, perfect for Halloween. And this is one of my favourite Cradle of Filth albums, but to be honest, I could have picked any of their albums because it's equally as gothic, it's equally as dark, and it's equally as perfect for Halloween. But we're going to go with Midian. If you're not familiar with this one, you check that album out. It's amazing. We can't mention Halloween, we can't mention dressing up or corpse paint or going completely theatric without mentioning the King. King Diamond with Mercyful Fate. This is the classic Mercyful Fate album. This is Don't Break the Oath. This is the second album. This is without a doubt my favourite of their albums, and it is one of the best albums ever written. Don't Break the Oath is a metal masterpiece, and it is so evil, it's so satanic and demonic, that it just fits perfectly with the themes of Halloween. There's the King, the original shocker. So, you're not familiar with Mercyful Fate, this is an evil album. This is one of their best, as I say, with tracks like A Dangerous Meeting, that coven gathered in the woods, that satanic ritual around the pentagram that it invokes the images of in your mind. It's perfect for Halloween. Absolutely brilliant stuff. A fantastic track, Nightmare. We've got Desecration of Souls, I should say. Night of the Unborn, The Oath, Welcome, Princess of Hell, Come to the Sabbath. These are all perfect heavy metal soundtracks to Halloween. This is traditional heavy metal, but it's darker. It's, shall we say, a little bit more theatric, but it's almost got that European distinctive, almost power metal vibe and sound there. But you know, the musicianship is so freaking good on this album. We've got King Diamond performing vocals, Hank Sherman and Michael Denner on guitars, We've got Timmy Hansen on bass, and we've got Kim Russ on drums. Great musicians, great band. This is one of the best heavy metal albums ever, period. Mercyful Fate, Don't Break the Oath, a perfect, nasty, satanic soundtrack to your Halloween. So, there you have it. 5 picks to provide you with that perfect, evil soundtrack to your Halloween. We've got Ghost with Opus Eponymous. We've got the mighty Mayhem with De Mysteriis Dom Satanis. We've got the great Murder Dolls with Women and Children Last. We've got Cradle of Filth with Midian, and we have one of my absolute favourite albums, Mercyful Fate with Don't Break the Oath. I couldn't get away with mentioning Halloween and all the theatrics without mentioning something to do with the King. So, what do you think of these albums? Are they going to be a perfect soundtrack to your Halloween? Very interested to know. If you're not familiar with any of these pieces of work, listen to them, go check them out, and then let me know what you think. I'm very interested to hear. Enjoy your Halloween, my friends. Stay safe, take care, check back soon for more reviews and words of all things good and heavy, and of course, feel free to like and subscribe. Many thanks, my friends. Happy Halloween. Stay heavy.